All right, boys. Round 16. Hopefully there aren't any postponed games this week. Because if there are, then we're gonna have another Buffalo Wild Wings bone to pick.
Yes, we are.
And hopefully it's not with Liverpool, but we'll see. But this is Red Card Radio. This is our preview of round 16 in the Premier League. My name is James. I support Arsenal. That guy up there is Brad. He supports Chelsea. Down below, that's Sean. He supports Tottenham. We got some spicy fixtures. There's a little bit of a London derby going on between Chelsea and Brentford. There's a Midlands derby in Forest and Villa, but a little bit behind the curtains, there's apparently a Manchester derby.
Loyal listeners will notice my visible shock at looking at our rundown as our intern was making the City United furiously increasing the text size of City United.
The intern does not have access to this document, but we also didn't discuss which games we were talking about. So I was like, we got to make sure we hit the Manchester Derby. Let me make sure they understand my bolds are because, like, hey, this is the big one.
We spent the last 15 minutes talking about a chess game, and then we hit the record button with zero pre-planning.
Well, hold on now, guys. Manchester is not that far from Liverpool. It may be windy.
It's possible.
True. But hey, look, join the Discord. Maybe we'll discuss more of this chess game that's happening there. So make sure you join the Discord below, links below, and get your picks in because we'll have that update too for you guys today. So like, you know, these episodes almost write themselves now. So we didn't need to like pick the games as we talk about them.
Oh yeah, look at Brad. It's so easy to run a podcast. It's just. It writes itself.
Hey, listen. As a co-host here, I just have to show up. I don't know about
that's true.
Sean.
That's true, James.
My role as co-host, I just show up.
This is the most meta podcast we've done in a long time, where we spent the last 3 minutes talking about nothing. Manchester City hosting Manchester United. This is the Manchester City guy through and through in Pep Guardiola versus the Manchester United guy through and through in Ruben Amorim. How many goals will City score? What is the margin of victory for Manchester City? And why does Ruben Amorim regret his decision to leave Sporting after this weekend?
I don't know. But did we hear that Pep says he will not manage another club team?
Right away, essentially. He said, I won't go to another country right away.
No, he said, I will not manage another club team. A country would be different. Like a country I would manage again.
And he's Spanish, right?
Yeah.
So he would manage the Spain team.
No, he will not manage the Spain team.
I think he might.
I would be shocked if he manages the Spain's team.
What do you think? He's going to like Brazil. Mexico or something? Brazil? Yeah, that's a pretty high profile.
I thought Brazil wanted Ancelotti, but we'll see. So why are you not sure, Brad, that I'm the United apologist, and I think the United.
Yeah, why are you
apologizing?
No, I'm not apologizing for United.
Seems like
they're getting smoked.
City hasn't been City, right? Like every week.
That's true.
In our picks, we've been putting City down, and every week it's an L or it's a draw, right? Like this City team isn't doing the things that they normally do. Now, granted, injuries and everything like that, right?
That's true.
And they smashed Forest, but then they drew to Palace. Like
the rare
Brad.
What
are we going to see? I know Kovacic is back, and then their Anthony is back. I mean, are we going to see Anthony versus Foden? Because that'd be very interesting to see who can get a goal this year. I think this game is a lot closer than what you think. And if you ask me to predict, I think a draw. I think it's a draw.
Sean and I have been on the record many a times talking about derbies and how you kind of throw form out the window and that like emotions play a part. I think that's true with every derby except for this one, because Manchester United don't see Manchester City as like actual rivals. Manchester United want to live in in a world of 15 years ago where Manchester City were irrelevant and United like to look past City, right? And so I think City takes that personally and wants to kill United every time they play. And I think that that's very true for Pep. And you see it. He's been rattled recently, telling everybody how many Premier League titles he has. And so I think
That's true.
I think
6.
I think
Oh,
City
putting it down there.
I think City are going to win by at least 3 goals. I think City absolutely dominate this match.
So you think this is the week that they put it together?
I mean, I am not of the opinion that City haven't had it together over the last month anyway, but yeah, I think that City are going to
They
win.
didn't win a game in November, bro.
Okay, I have
Right.
all kinds of like PTSD from Manchester City, so I always think they're good.
So
Okay, yeah. I mean, I just think this game is closer than we think, and for all the reasons that you said, though, this is a derby game.
But United are so bad comparatively. Like their defenders are bad. Their midfield is threadbare.
that's what I've been saying.
They have
Bar for bar.
They have no attackers. Like what are we talking? You're really sounding like me right now. You're finding a reason to think United are going to do well in this game.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see on the cards what happens.
I've called out this guy.
I don't want United to do good. I mean, I don't want United to do good. I just don't think City are going to do good. There is a difference here.
Sure.
I agree with you.
Sure.
United is a dumpster fire. They are they are part of the United table and they're not at the top of it, right? But City also isn't the City of old. Like they got cut quite a few times. I don't know if you've seen Pep's face with his scars, but like City are not the invincible robot giants that we know them to be. And so like if United were going to do something, this would be it at the empty ad.
So my question would be, how much more money as a competitive person for Ruben, as a competitive person, how much more money would it take for you? I don't know how much more he's getting paid from Portugal to Manchester United.
I'd assume
how much more? I would assume a lot also. But as we are 3 competitive people, how much more money would it take for you to go from a winning situation to a losing situation, and not a losing situation that there's a hope, because there's not a hope for United in the foreseeable future. I'm not saying they can't turn it around.
But. So in the scenario that you're talking about, right? I'm going from a
they're winning the league.
10 league.
Right, they're in Champions League.
But okay, but I'm playing in a top 10, top 15
top 10
league in the world.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Top 10.
No, I'd say they're probably 6th or 7th. Yeah, ish.
I mean, I think that
the big 4.
Maybe so. Like Sporting and Porto are probably your 2 big clubs, right? Besides that, it's championship caliber talent that you're going up against, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm saying like a top 10, top 15, because you have 2 big teams, but then everybody else is kind of like, I can't really name another team. I don't know which one of them are in the conference league. Like that, we put it that way, right?
And I'm not trying to disrespect Portuguese football.
100% we're not. But there is a difference in jumping to English football, right? And so like there's a reason why players come to the Premier League is because it's the best league there is. And with the United brand, right? Because like if a club has been built for destiny that will eventually figure something out, right? And get the right people in, new owners, new structure, even though they've already cut it down since they started. Dan Ashworth got kicked out for one in Southgate over Ruben.
5 months later.
Yeah, he didn't want Van Dijk. He like all the people that they signed this summer. He was like, no, that's stupid. We shouldn't get them. No, that's stupid. We shouldn't get them. He's probably proven right, but I mean Southgate, I don't think is the right call. But I'm going to United, and yes, I'm probably getting in a couple extra million a year, but we're figuring it out.
Well, I think this is really, you can boil it down to the fact that you're going from one of the bigger teams, not even the biggest teams in Portugal, one of the bigger teams in Portugal, to arguably one of the biggest footballing clubs in the world.
Yes.
Like Manchester United calls, and you don't say no to that unless you have some other underlying beef with Manchester United. And you have to remember, Ruben Amorim spent time at United doing badges after his playing career ended with Jose Mourinho. And so on top of that, so Manchester United are like one of the biggest clubs in the world. They come calling, you're probably saying yes. Even if you're getting paid less money at United, the upside of turning Manchester United around and turning them back into a force in English football, if you do that, you are a legend. And if you don't do it and you fail, like all
Then
of
you're just somebody else.
you're just no, you don't even lose your luster really, because like it happened to all of the other managers since Sir Alex Ferguson. And so you can't, like, you're just like, you take 6 months off and then you go on your tour and you say like, look, like they're just United they're unsavable. Like no one else could do it. There are so many issues and and so like I feel like there's
No risk.
I feel like there's no risk here. You're playing with house money and you're going to the biggest football club in the world. And so, then on top of that, if you succeed, then you become instantly like one of the biggest names in football. And so
then you get to pick your next job.
It's kind of like what Zidane did at Real Madrid when they were struggling, and then he went back to back to back to back in the Champions League essentially. And like now Zidane can do whatever he wants, and what he wants to do right now is nothing, but he can do whatever he wants.
He's waiting for the French job.
Yeah,
he wants the French seat.
But so like, yeah.
I just brought it back because you asked that question in the intro, but we never actually like
got into it.
I think ultimately you guys are right. Like you don't turn this down because there's no real downside. If he stinks,
who cares?
Then
Everyone
it
else
is who
stunk.
cares?
Jose stunk.
Yeah.
Louis Van Gaal stunk.
Wait,
Ten Hag stunk.
Jose won a trophy there.
Sure, but so did Eric Ten Hag. Eric Ten Hag won 2.
True.
I mean, like that, but he still stunk, right? Like,
and he's gonna get another job. Ten Hag's gonna be employed next summer.
Yes,
like
in Germany,
somewhere. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. He's gonna get employed by somebody because he went to England and he won 2 trophies.
I mean, this is probably similar. Like, not really, because Sporting is a bigger institution than Burnley. But Vincent Kompany bailed on Burnley to go to Bayern Munich because you're not turning down that call.
To be fair, Bayern Munich tried to hire 7 other people before they settled on Vincent Kompany. True. So I don't know if that's necessarily an A to B relation.
No, I didn't say.
And this is not apples to apples because Vincent Kompany is going to be in Brussels next year. Like once they fire him, he is not going back to a big league. He is going to Belgium.
He might get hired by Wolves.
Oh, come on. He wasn't even good. No, come on, man. He's not even good.
He's going to need, Wolves are going to need to come up from the championship, and Vincent Kompany has a track record of bringing Burnley up. So, hey,
this is a great conversation that we maybe need to have off the podcast about managers going from playing to coaching so quickly, and they don't actually learn their own teaching style. Like Mikel Arteta is good because he was on the sideline for a number of years learning how he wants to be a manager.
And let's be fair, he spent the last 2 years at Arsenal barely playing. So
he
played
like his badges then. Yeah.
But like we're talking about Gerrard, we're talking about Lampard, we're talking about Rooney, like all these players come off the pitch and they think they're going to be a good manager. Let me tell you, Michael Jordan is a crap judge of talent. He was so bad at Charlotte that just the elite players are not good at telling other people how to do the job.
Yeah, because
they're just not.
Well, there's a funny quote of like Thierry Henry when he was coaching New York Red Bulls, and he said, "Can you play one touch?" to these players, and he's like dumbfounded by the fact that these players can't just do what is like naturally easy for him.
Yeah,
and he's like, just play one touch, and they're just like they're struggling to do it, and he's just like, these players just aren't as good as me. Like,
of course. A bunch of Americans aren't as good as Thierry Henry. Imagine.
Okay, so Brad thinks Manchester United are going to draw this game. It's crazy. But to each their own.
It's 5-0 City.
Yeah, I think like 4-1 or something like that for City. Chelsea Brentford from Stamford Bridge, second place Chelsea. Are they?
Yeah.
Do the Blues keep marching on?
Yes, we do. We are starting our run. This is just our next few fixtures. Let's see. Now that we've gotten through our big game, like the next 10 games, like Brentford, Everton, Fulham, Ipswich, Palace. The
You say those
then
5 teams.
Bournemouth.
You say those 5 teams, and you're like, yeah, those should be 15 points.
and then Bournemouth, which is probably
Should be
like
18. Should be 18.
Wolves
21.
to run into City, and that's at the end of January.
So you should win the next 7 games.
That's what I'm thinking.
I mean,
And then West Ham, Brighton after that, and then we run to Villa. So like this is our we need to be bagging points in.
could I just give you one small flaw with that thought process?
Yeah.
Brentford are pretty good.
Oh yeah. Look, if we need to make sure that they don't get a kickoff, or if they get a kickoff, we have all 11 players in our box.
This is the top 2 scoring offenses in the league.
Yeah.
Thomas
Frank.
Tottenham also have 31. They're equal on Fulham or on Brentford, but it's Chelsea and it's Brentford. That is the top. They score goals like it's nothing.
I think though that this is going to be a more interesting game. You have to remember Brentford just beat Newcastle 4-2. And so Brentford, what is they're on a okay, so they're a little topsy turvy. They lost to Villa 2 weeks ago, but so I don't know. I think
and we're playing in Kazakhstan, or we played in Kazakhstan before this happened.
But it's cold there, just
Maresca,
but Palmer's not there, so there's no Cole Palmer.
Yeah, there's no Cold Palmer there. I don't think, bro. I will be shooketh if there is more than 3 recognizable players starting. Like if you guys can recognize more than 3 players on our that start the game, I will be shocked.
No, I mean you guys are gonna,
but
you're gonna play some people that don't get as much playing time. Noni Madueke,
Madueke normally starts, but I don't think he's traveling there. Dewsbury Hall probably travels
really?
there. Yeah.
You don't think you send the second team?
No.
That's wild.
But we just I'm not even kidding. We added 8 kids to the B list today.
Sure, that's fine. But that normally happens.
There were rumors that Maresca wasn't even going himself.
That was my question. Whoa. That was going to be my question: is whether or not Maresca was going to go.
That's disrespectful.
He's going. He is going.
That's disrespectful.
But the rumor was, is he going?
Well, I was going to say
it's also negative 18 degrees there.
Maresca was going to go, and then he was going to take a private flight back to to London and leave the rest of the refuse to come. I think that this could be a really interesting game. When I'm looking at the slate of games and the schedule of games, I look at this game on Sunday and I'm like, I think that's the pick of the litter. Because I think,
and they're rested too.
Brighton Palace, who cares about that? City United is going to be a rout. Spurs Southampton. If Spurs could turn that into a game, Spurs could turn that into a game.
I agree. You saw my ears perk up. Don't.
But it shouldn't be. And
it shouldn't be.
But Chelsea, Brentford, London Derby, Thomas Frank's side's hard to play. I think that could be a really interesting and good game.
I think it's gonna be fun. This is the geographically closest rivalry. Geographically closest
in London
in Premier League, I think. No, it's Everton, Liverpool.
Yeah,
geographically closest. But Brentford and Chelsea are not very far from each other.
I don't think so. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't remember.
No. It's Fulham. I'm thinking of Fulham. Okay.
I knew Fulham.
Yeah,
I knew Fulham and Chelsea were very close, but I wasn't sure where Brentford was.
It's Fulham that I'm thinking of. They're 2 miles apart. But yeah. Anyways,
what's up, Brad?
But Brentford's not far.
Okay,
Brentford is not far.
Should we turn our attention to the Midlands, Forest and Villa?
That's a big one. That's a really big one because Forest have been blowing doors off.
We saw
They're 8
Brent
miles apart.
8
Okay.
Mile Road. Yep.
8 Mile Road.
So this is 5th versus 6th, Forest versus Villa. And I know this is game 16, and so we don't want to draw too many conclusions or like blow this out of proportion. But Villa have played in the Champions League midweek, and traditionally that means
And they won.
they don't do well on the weekend afterwards. So should we expect the similar, or will Unai Emery have his team, doing something other than what they've been doing?
I look, probably not. Like I think it's probably spicy because like also Forest are starting to kind of like
Teeter.
like you can see the roller coaster starting to happen. They in their last 5 games have been 3 of their losses.
Yep.
The first 10 they were cruising, and so like it's starting to wobble.
Yeah.
But Unai doesn't care about the league.
It's
When there's
incredible.
European
It's
when there's
so
European
incredible.
football on the line, he does not care about the league.
Yeah.
And like that's not a bad thing because like he does have like a bunch, like he has a couple of Europa League trophies,
He is the Europa League
right?
specialist. Like that's his thing.
And maybe he's trying to get Villa into the Europa League so he can win one.
I
Like
mean,
maybe that's the play. But like I don't know, bro. This is interesting on a couple of different levels. Like what, like
I am at baseline willing to and assuming that Villa will win this game, because I look at this and I'm just like, Aston Villa, their players are just better than the Forest players. Like they have more better players than the Forest players. So I think that they'll win the game. But at the same time, we have all talked about the fact that going to Nottingham Forest is a difficult proposition. That's a difficult stadium to play at. And on top of European stuff, I think I'm still personally leaning slightly towards Villa, but I definitely don't. I could see a draw or a big Forest win as really reasonable situations as well.
yeah, I mean like this. So where you think the Chelsea Brentford game is like the true like toss up true like good game of the week? I think this is going to be either the most boring game or the wildest game there is. Like this
I think
might
it's
be
gonna
that
be
3-4 like
yeah, I think it's gonna be
craziness.
fun. I think it's gonna be fun.
It's funny that you say boring, and like I assume that means boring means not a lot of goals, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's boring, in my opinion.
We
Right, but both teams trying to keep the ball like there's not very much open play.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I think out of all the games, this is the one I don't know. And their goal differential is very similar.
0-1.
Yeah, they've won like it's exactly the same except Forest has 1 extra goal, right? Like compared to goals against. Forest isn't scoring a ton of goals. They don't give up a ton of goals.
Nope.
Villa kind of does the same. It's all vibes because like, and Villa isn't built for European football necessarily right now.
Not yet. Yeah, they're missing like a few players to like turn
Yeah.
like you got to really expand your squad, and also in expanding it, improve your squad as well.
Right. Like I think this is like we're Aston Villa are running into like the Newcastle wall that happened.
Yeah, we talked about that
And then
last
you're
week.
going to
Definitely.
run yourself down and then like you get it, they need to add this summer, but you're not going to have European football to add this summer unless you win the Champions League.
Yeah, it'll be tough.
Yep. So, I mean, it's going to be spicy. Nuno going to throw some spice on this game.
Yeah, if there's any manager cooking something up in the Premier League, it's Nuno. Like Nuno is like the king of pragmatism and like finding something specific for a certain situation. And he tried it a couple weeks ago against Arsenal, and it failed spectacularly. But he tried something against Arsenal. Do you guys think that Gary O'Neill is still employed as the Wolves manager come Monday morning? Wolves versus Ipswich, home game for Wolves at the Molineux.
yes, I do.
If they lose, yes.
Do you say that because you think Wolves are going to win the game, Sean?
Yes. I think they are just better than Ipswich. And I don't I don't think that means that Ipswich are bad. I just we had this. You had this problem last year in picks, and you probably have it this year too. Of we just keep assuming that Wolves are good, and Kuna is so freaking good. If they get relegated, he is going to a top club. He is so freaking good, and I just keep assuming that he is going to drag Wolves across the finish line. Right? Like it's like Chris Wood with Nottingham Forest.
Mm-hmm.
Remember last or a couple of years ago, Brad Mitrovic is going to Mitrovic.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Chris Wood, and that's also
Yeah.
how I feel about Cunha. Is like he's just going to do it. I just assume it every week, and then most times I'm right, and then you just like
Yeah.
you just assume it and it happens, and then we're on to the next week.
I mean, they have 3 players here that like probably go to top clubs as soon as if Wolves get relegated.
Yeah, if Wolves get relegated, they're yes.
Alniri
Oh,
is not going
Ait
down.
Nuri is great.
Lamina is not going down. And then
I'd take
Cunha is not going down.
I'd take Ait Nuri on Tottenham right now. I think he's a
Over
really
Udogie?
great. I think he's a really great left.
Over Udogie?
Don't ask me that again.
You didn't answer it. You didn't answer it.
Yes, I would take him over Udogie. Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to get to that point that you said that now Udogie, who was the best player in the Premier League last year.
He was great last year. He's not great this year. Things changed, Brad. All right.
A lot, apparently.
To answer my own question, I think Gary O'Neill will be sacked on Monday morning because I think Ipswich are going to win this game. Ipswich have been competitive in every game they've played this year, and they've picked up more results. They're just like they kind of understand, I think, a little bit more like how to. And this is a weird thing, like understand how to win a game. Like all of these people are professional footballers who've been playing football for 25 years.
They have one win, Brad. I mean, James.
I agree with you, and that's one less than Wolves have. But I guess
they have 6 draws though.
My point is like they're better at not losing, and they've been competitive. They've been competitive in almost all the games they've played. So
and that's against like the whole spectrum of teams too,
Yes.
right? Like it's not just like West Ham and Palace they've been competitive against. No, they were competitive against teams at the top of the table. Like they took City to the end.
They
took Tottenham to the end. Yeah, they beat Tottenham.
They beat Tottenham.
And so
that's their one win.
They have lost their last 3, and so I think that they're kind of due for a turn of fortune. So I'm saying it now. I'm picking Ipswich to win that game.
And McKenna's a really good manager, like, or has shown that he has some talent in him as a manager. Yeah, no, I think we're probably ending on the Gary O'Neill timeline, which is sad because like I don't, he was dealt a terrible hand. But I think
he'll get another job.
Yeah, I don't think this is the end of him.
He'll fail up. Maybe not as spectacular as company failed up, but he'll fail up. Let us know. So we need to go over our spreadsheet, see how people have been doing. We do have a little bit of a bigger update this week because we have all of match week 14 and all of match week 15 factored in here. Now, this was a weird week because not everybody picked. We had quite a few people who did not pick games. And so I'm not entirely sure how we address that long term, but at least, so quick update for round 14. Everyone picked round 14. Trey had our resident Manchester City supporter. He came out on top with 6 in round 14. But in round 15, we only had 5 respondents that I'm aware of. If you feel like you responded and I didn't get your picks in, you should hit me up in the comments or tweet me or something. But we only had the 3 of us, Jimmy and Jimmy's buddy. And interestingly enough, we had a tie between Sean and Jimmy's buddy. Both of you guys were correct on 4. So not only were there not a lot of picks made, but there were also just not a lot of correct picks. This was one of our more threadbare weekends, just across the board.
I mean, well, these games were definitely very like not a lot of expected results.
Yeah.
Right. So like, who thought Forest would be able to sneak past United. Apparently, Sean did. Who thought Newcastle was going to get smashed by Brentford?
I'm a big Forest man.
Yeah. So
Right.
if we look at the overall standings, just generally speaking, Sean is only 1 behind Jimmy now. 1 behind Jimmy. Brad is 8 behind Jimmy. That means he's 7 behind Sean. And that's all that matters at the top. Those are the only ones that matter. Joel and I are irrelevant. And I have now picked what looks like 20 more games than Joel and only have 2 more correct picks than him. So, moral of the story is that I am not good at this game. I have a sub 40% pick rate. So if I say I'm going to pick Ipswich at a game, it probably means Wolves are going to win. So we'll see.
You guys hinted that I was a cheater. I got 13 right out of 30.
When did I intimate that you were a cheater?
Oh, Brad did.
I didn't.
You were like,
not.
oh, somehow he picked Forest.
I did not. I said Sean clearly thought that Forest was going to win.
I did. I am a Forest apologist, and I am a United hater.
To be fair, I had it as a draw, so you know.
I picked United, so.
But I was doing the math on the last.
Of course you did.
On the last weekend, this weekend, and the midweek. Yeah, 30 games. I got 13 right.
That's almost 50%, man. How many did I get right? So you're saying 13, 14, and 15?
6.
That's 2, 7, 2 is 9. You got 9 right out of 30.
I missed. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I did not give you the proper respect due.
So my man is like, I almost got 50%. I'm not cheating, and I got less than a third.
You got 30%. Exactly.
Yeah, you actually kind of stink, James.
Yeah, I do. I sure do.
Dang.
If you want to suck at picking games with me, you can join me in the Discord and submit your picks for round 16. Just tell us who you think's gonna win, who you think's gonna draw, and who you think's gonna. That's it. Yeah, I thought we only pick winners and drawers. We don't pick losers. I guess passively we pick losers, but we pick if you think it's a winner or a draw. So do that in our Discord or put it on the YouTube comments or the Spotify comments, wherever is most convenient for you. And do that at some point this weekend. We'll get you in the spreadsheet and we'll get you all poked in and added to this this sprawling spreadsheet that we have.
Nice.
But thanks so much for tuning in tonight. We hope you enjoyed it. Hit us up on social media. That guy up top is at KSBradG. Down below is at Whiteheart_Sean. I am at James Tiffany. Collectively, we are at Redcard_Radio. And we will be back next week, full slate. We got to break all this down, see who the winners and the losers are, and then we'll have a preview of round 17. And so the Red Card Radio train keeps on rolling. I was going to say training, but rolling sounds better. But that's it. That's all we got. We will see you guys next week. Have a good one. Thanks so much for listening.